Picture this. You wander into a glossy appliance store, maybe killing time, maybe looking for a replacement for the clunky toaster that's been in your kitchen since the Clinton administration. There it is on the shelf, squat, white, unassuming. It doesn't even have a touchscreen, and yet on the little placard beneath it, you see the number, $300. Not for a smart oven, not for some AI-powered robot chef, a toaster. And here's the kicker. Sometimes it's sold out. People are putting their names on waiting lists for it like it's the latest iPhone. Why? What is hiding in this humble bread heater that could possibly justify its price and its cult? If you think it's all marketing smoke, listen to this. One customer swore it made the most emotional toast of your life. Another claimed it brought back the taste of Sunday mornings at my grandmother's kitchen table. One reviewer, an adult with a job and a mortgage, actually wrote, "It makes my soul sing." And then there's the person who confessed to an obsession with chewy toasted bread, as though we were talking about a dangerous romance. Is this genius branding? Or is something genuinely strange happening inside this little white box? The company says it restores bread's soul. Their words, not mine. They claim it does this with, wait for it, steam. Steam, they insist, breathes life back into bread, reviving the original flavor and texture as if the loaf had just come out of the oven for the very first time. Suddenly, we're not talking about breakfast anymore. We're talking about resurrection. And that raises a far stranger question. Who decided bread even had a soul in the first place? And why does it matter so much now? Strip away the poetry and you're left with a box. A small white rectangle with a single knob and a tray barely big enough to hold a shot glass of water. That's it. No glowing screen, no Bluetooth pairing, no smart anything. It looks like it might have been designed in the 1970s and forgotten in a cupboard until now. And that's the strange part. In a world obsessed with features, the Balmuda seems almost aggressively simple, as if daring you to notice that the magic isn't in the buttons, so if it's not in the tech, where is it? The answer begins with a man who wanted to be a rock star. Jen Terao, long hair, guitar slung low, touring Japan with dreams of filling stadiums. But the tours fizzled, the money dried up, the band broke apart. He wound up broke, working odd jobs, carrying the quiet ache of having failed the life he'd imagined. Years later, during a dreary company barbecue, rain forcing everyone under a tarp, he grilled some bread over the coals. The smell hit him first, sharp, warm, alive. Then the bite, crisp outside, soft and steaming inside. That moment, in the middle of a soggy corporate picnic, cracked something open in him. What if you could make bread taste like that every day? The Balmuda doesn't just make toast. It invites a ritual. You measure the water. You listen for the hiss of steam. You wait, knowing you can't rush it without breaking the spell. Owners speak of it in strangely tender terms. They admit to feeling guilty if it sits unused for too long, as if they've abandoned a loyal companion. One man even described covering it with a tea towel at night, so it wouldn't get dusty. It's not an appliance anymore. It's something you care for. And in return, it seems to care for you. And that's where the trouble and the magic begins. Not everyone is bewitched. Critics dismiss the Balmuda as $300 worth of placebo wrapped in white plastic. They run blind taste tests. They toast side by side. And sometimes they admit the difference is small. Not non-existent, but not a revelation either. To them, toast is toast. Heat bread, it gets crunchy. End of story. Which makes the next question even sharper. If the magic is mostly in people's heads, why are they so willing to believe? Fans fire back with a warning. You can't just throw any bread in there. Supermarket sandwich slices? Disaster. They turn limp, soggy, confused, like they've been rescued from a puddle. No, the Balmuda demands respect. It needs real bread. Loaves with weight and scent and story. Bread with a crust that cracks when you tap it. Which leads to a strange realization. Maybe this isn't really about the toaster at all. Maybe what we're worshipping is the bread. Scarcity is its own seduction. When the Balmuda launches somewhere new, the first shipment evaporates in days. People post photos of their order confirmations like they've just scored front row tickets. Restocks get treated like sneaker drops. There's chatter, countdowns, tips on where to find one before they're gone. At that point, is it about toast or the thrill of having something others can't? The fixation didn't stop at Japan's borders. In Seoul, Hong Kong, Singapore, New York, the ritual spreads. Some fans praise its compact size, claiming it's perfect for travel. Travel. As in, they put a toaster in their luggage. You'll find photos of Balmudas in Paris hotel rooms, plugged into voltage converters, standing proudly beside espresso cups, like a pet that refuses to be left behind. How did this little box cross oceans and still keep its grip? And yet, the doubts linger. In some head-to-head trials, the Balmuda's toast wasn't dramatically better. Subtle, yes. Distinct, maybe. But enough to justify the hype? That's where the debates live. In the gap between, I swear it's different, and I can't tell. And somehow, that uncertainty doesn't kill the obsession. It deepens it, because if the proof is invisible, you have to keep looking. So why are people still obsessed? The answer starts to appear in the smaller, stranger stories. Some people hide their toasters in a cabinet. One Balmuda owner gave theirs a place of honor, right in the living room, where guests could see it as soon as they walked in. It deserves to be seen, they said, as if talking about a painting. Visitors would ask, why is there a toaster next to your coffee table? And that's the opening. The owner would smile, tell the story, maybe even plug it in for a demonstration. The toast itself was secondary. The real joy was watching someone else take that first bite, pause, and admit it was different. Not life-changing, maybe, but different enough to make them lean in. And once you've seen someone lean in, it's hard not to keep showing them. In the strange little corners of the internet where Balmuda fans gather, the posts feel less like appliance reviews and more like love letters. Photos of the toaster sitting beside fresh loaves from a Saturday market, slices arranged like art, captions like weekend ritual or Sunday perfection. These aren't people killing time online. They're curating moments, proof that their purchase wasn't just a whim, but an investment in how life should feel. And in those photos, there's always a subtle undertone. This isn't just my toaster. This is my thing. The one that says something about me before I say a word. For some, the Balmuda's magic isn't in the toast. It's in the wait. They talk about it like a ceremony. The careful pour of water into the tiny tray. The perfect slice, cut with intention. The hiss as steam meets heat. The quiet moment before the knob clicks and the toast emerges. It's not breakfast anymore. It's a performance you give yourself. And like any ritual worth keeping, it's less about the object and more about what it signals. A pause, a bit of care, a reminder that the morning is yours to shape. But these moments aren't just charming eccentricities. They reveal the deeper truth about what people are really buying. Scarcity changes how we behave. When a Balmuda restock is announced, there's a scramble. People setting alarms, texting friends, clicking buy before the page even fully loads. Not because they're desperate for toast that day, but because they're afraid of waiting months. The moment it's scarce, it stops being a kitchen appliance and becomes a limited opportunity, something that might slip away if you hesitate. And that fear of missing out, that sharp little tickle in the brain, doesn't just make you want it, it makes you need it. But once you have it, what exactly are you savoring? Some Balmuda fans talk about bread the way wine critics talk about Pinot Noir. Crisp perimeter, cloud-like crumb. A whisper of fermentation in the nose. You half expect them to swirl the slice in a glass before taking a bite. And in a way, that's what's happening. The Balmuda becomes a tasting instrument. The toaster is the sommelier's glass, the magnifying lens for flavor, the frame around the painting. It doesn't just make toast, it makes you notice toast. And once you start noticing, you start assigning meaning. But meaning is slippery. It can feel like science, or like something closer to faith. One fan told me about their first Balmuda breakfast. They said, I closed my eyes and thought, this is what mornings are supposed to be. Not, this is good toast. Not, this was worth $300. It was something bigger. A flash of nostalgia, a sense of being cared for, a memory they didn't even know they had until that bite. That's not a feature you can measure with thermometers or crumb density charts. That's a feeling. And feelings don't live in the toaster. They live in us. Which makes the next question inevitable. Are we tasting bread or belief? Believers swear the magic is real. They'll toast bread in a regular machine just to prove to themselves, again, that the Balmuda is better. Skeptics shake their heads. They call it a placebo, a trick of expectation. Neither side convinces the other, because both are right in their own frame of reference. If you believe, you experience it. If you don't, you don't. It's Schrodinger's toast, simultaneously sublime and ordinary, depending on who's holding the fork. But maybe the real story isn't about which side is right. Maybe it's about why we need to believe at all. The Balmuda's steam and heat curves matter less than the story it lets you tell yourself. When you believe in the toast, it changes. Your senses sharpen, your attention narrows, and every detail, the crackle, the aroma, the soft give of the crumb, becomes part of a private performance. You taste something no one else can because it's flavored with your own conviction. In that way, the toaster is just a vessel. What you're really buying is the permission to slow down, to notice, to feel like something small and ordinary has been made special. And that brings us to the heart of it. Maybe $300 isn't for the toaster. Maybe it's for the morning you'll remember. The one where you sat in your kitchen, sunlight catching the steam rising from a perfect slice, and felt the quiet luxury of having exactly what you wanted. The Balmuda doesn't just toast bread, it toasts a moment. And moments, unlike appliances, can't be returned, repaired, or resold. You either have them or you miss them. And for some people, that's worth far more than $300. Maybe the Balmuda is proof that even the simplest object can carry a story big enough to change how we feel about our mornings. If you've ever had an everyday thing that felt almost sacred, I'd love to hear about it. Tell me in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, subscribe, hit the like button, and join me next time when we trade toast for sand and uncover how the most ordinary grain on earth became the center of a billion-dollar global scam.